It's easy to get sucked into a spreadsheet.
I was in the middle of doing research, so I was in a spreadsheet too. So,
Oh, fun. Well, thank you for breaking free from your spreadsheets and joining us for a book club conversation. I know we were talking about, we could get more people to come if we had wine, but, we've got iced coffee. So,
iced coffee. I have iced tea right now. So.
Oh, good.
Oh my.
Well, cheers.
I don't even. It's too hot here to want anything else.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, we were just talking about how, hot coffee is wonderful, iced coffee is wonderful, room temperature coffee is completely disgusting. And, there's no reason for it.
I don't know. I go between, I have a hot cup and then I transition to a nice big iced coffee and that's it. So later I just drink iced tea. I don't know why.
Oh, smart. There you go.
Well, I'm with you. I'm drinking iced tea as well.
Cool. Well, let's go ahead and get started if you don't mind, and we'll carry on. So I'm Paula Williams, ABCI. We help aviation companies sell more of their products and services.
John Williams. I work for her and do the back end stuff, networking, all kind of stuff, and security.
I'm Debbie Murphy. We help our clients buy and sell jets, and I am the VP of Marketing.
Fantastic. I'm really happy that you joined us, both of you. Today we're talking about Jansch's The Ultimate Marketing Engine, which actually is one of my favorite books that I've read this year, and probably because it's super nerdy.
It's also thin, which is great.
Oh, yeah. I know. I try to do the thin ones in summer. Because if you have to pack it to go somewhere, you can just, slide it into your luggage without it being a huge pain in the back to haul it around. So that's a good thing. I liked it so much that we actually made worksheets that I'm going to be putting in everybody's base camp with the milestones and action steps from every stage. His philosophy is very much like what we've always done. So I think he stole it from us. At least I'd like to think so.
I listened to a few, because I wasn't home long enough to actually read the book. I did review, sort of review it. So I had some talking points. But he did a TED Talk about 10 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And he really wasn't saying the same stuff. So it's kind of interesting to develop since then.
We were talking about this earlier. The first book that I read from John Jantsch was Duct Tape Marketing, which was very retail and very guerrilla marketing. And that's probably what the TED Talk was about, because that was about, sounds like about the same time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think?
I didn't listen to the whole TED Talk because I was really just looking to hear him talk about this.
Oh, okay. And it was not this. Yeah. Duct tape marketing. I mean, he had some great ideas about how to advertise on a shoestring and other things like that. And, it was very much like Joel Conrad Levison's Guerrilla Marketing, another great book, but very retail, not business to business or large ticket, large transaction, complex transaction, big companies kind of marketing like what we do.
This suits us a lot better because it's about building long-term relationships and referrals.
Exactly. In fact,
is what we do.
Right.
Yeah.
And it takes a project management approach to marketing rather than, let's try this, let's try that.
Random acts of marketing, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And his intent seems to be, I like the intent behind how he's, really working with your top 20% of your clients and, building relationships. It seems a lot more human centered rather than just,
Yeah. Another one of his books that we talked about in a book club a couple of years back, the Referral Engine. Actually, it might have been more than a couple of years back. And that one I thought, kind of was halfway between duct tape marketing and this, because he's talking about, systematizing your referrals, which is more applicable to us. And we actually did cover that in our book club a while back. And most people just do referrals as kind of accidents, happy accidents.
Right.
Yeah. And he talks about how to bake that into your sales process, where you're actually asking for referrals. And most people just don't do that because they're uncomfortable or whatever. But if you make it part of a system where maybe it's part of an email autoresponder or something along those lines, it makes it a lot more likely and a lot more comfortable too. But
I liked his visualization of the hourglass.
Yeah.
Taking the funnel and turning it upside down. So you're thinking about while you're building the funnel and while you're working through that process, the next part of the process, which is the referral process. So you're feeding it back in again.
Yeah. And that is super applicable to us because, they say in aviation, all the money is made on the second, third, fourth transaction. Your first transaction is just so time and labor and everything else intensive that if you break even, that's great, because it's the second, third, fourth transaction where you actually make the money. And so I love that, where you take the traditional marketing funnel,
right,
and then you say, okay, now you have a customer. Now some of your customers are going to become your best referral sources. And that is so true for us.
And there are not like unlimited people that are going to buy our services in aviation. There's a certain amount that can afford to buy. We sell planes, so there's only, and we're not selling little planes very often,
right?
So you have to have the money to buy those,
right? So it's like 0.001% of the population, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, we had a lady that was a client for a while that had we figured out that her possible audience, because she had a service for a particular type of aircraft, her possible audience was 57.
Wow.
And it was like, could she make a living on 57 clients? And the answer is yes. But she had to become very, very, very well known to those 57 people,
Yes.
Right. But and so obviously, her money was made on the bottom half of that funnel and very little on the top. So she had one that looked like this and then that, so I think most of ours are a little bit more balanced. So that's a good thing. Right. I think the thing I like best about it was the fact that even though marketing is unpredictable in the micro sense, he put together these things, with the characteristics, challenges, and then his word was promise. We've made it expectations because there's no such thing as a promise in marketing.
No.
Right. And then, if you meet these characteristics, these are the expectations of what your marketing will do for you. And it's really, really scary accurate, the way he's put it together, because it's a macro sense, not a micro sense. If I run an ad, I will get X result. But if I have all of these boxes checked, chances are my business is doing these things. And I think that's really reassuring. So that's why we're doing this for all of our clients now, because this is going to be
I'll be interested to
and it's so juxtaposed to what they teach in business school and marketing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't go to business school. I went to communication school.
Me too.
Yeah, well.
So that was, we did have
though.
some marketing stuff. It just is not the same. It's not quite the same point of view. So
yeah, well, they assume that you're going to go to work for Coke or Pepsi or God knows Textron, somebody up there that can afford to throw $1 million out to do a test in marketing and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And the people we talk to don't work that way. They don't have that luxury of throwing $1 million over here and some over there and checking the test results and see what's going on.
Well, mine was more focused on doing digital marketing.
Yeah.
So they wasn't quite that point of view. So it was interesting.
Yeah. Well, and in school, I learned all about, doing A/B tests and, of course, everybody talks about that.
Right.
But when your numbers are so small,
You don't do it, right?
You can't do the A/B test because the numbers will be statistically insignificant.
It doesn't work. Yes.
Exactly. So we have to depend on other people, like if we're using a demographic that's similar to like Harley Davidson as an example, and then they're doing marketing, we count on them to do all the research for us. And then
borrow it.
Yeah, if it's a recreational aviation product that has the same demographics as Harley Davidson, you just take the same stuff and apply it to your campaign and you'll get pretty good results. And you can do a little bit of tweaking, but there's just so little difference between your A set and your B set if you do a split test. And the numbers are so small. So yeah, anyway, I'm really excited about this because I think it's going to help our clients feel a little bit more grounded, about where they are in their marketing, where their space is, are they at level 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, based on some real simple questions that they can answer. And, based on where they are, these are the expectations of what they can expect. And that's always been something that we've tried to explain to people, but it's just so much easier to hand them a matrix and say, if you can check these boxes, this is the type of response that you can expect to your marketing efforts. And this is why it's worth getting to the next level. And here's what you have to do it. So I've not seen it laid out quite so cleanly before.
It's very clearly written.
Yeah.
Very easy to process.
Mm-hmm.
I liked his, the behaviors of, like, how do you your ideal client with, you start out with know, like, and trust.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, how you appeal to your ideal customer with those, and then you move forward from there.
Right.
So it's, I guess they're all sort of similar, most of the marketing, the books.
Yeah. I think everybody has the know, like, trust, and then try, and then buy. And then he goes into what happens after that, like
repeat and refer.
Repeat, right? Refer, exactly. And repeat and refer. And, you go around that cycle as many times as you want. So, but yeah, I mean, that is where the money is made. And that's where the security is, really. You don't have to be making new sales all the time or approaching new people all the time. If you've got a group of 100 people, and JetBrokers is in an enviable position of having been in business for so long that there's a whole bunch of people that would never buy an airplane from anybody else. And that's really where you want to be, is, having that kind of a position and reputation. And you did it.
It's all about our relationships.
Yeah.
And, that's where, that's kind of hard to market to in a way if you're trying to just do digital marketing. You can send emails, but it's really about personal relationships where it's phone calls and actually knowing people.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, and even the digital stuff gets to be personal. I've noticed, a lot of times when we put out jokes or whatever and stuff like that, it's always the same people that are, replying to the jokes and adding their own jokes and doing that sort of thing. So, yeah, even the digital stuff is.
Yeah, there are people that I could definitely see some of our long-term clients we interact with on social media.
Yeah.
Personalization that you are not recognizing for us is the fact that every year we make a trip. We started a year ago or 2 years or 3, whatever it was, and we stop and talk to people on our way to NBAA.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fun. It's fun when you stop and talk to us. We like it.
That's like one of our favorite things to do because, we never get to see people in person, my goodness.
Yeah.
Of course, that the show is great because, then you get to see people, but it's not the same as going to their office and seeing where they work every day and seeing where all the magic happens and all that. So
you really get to know people, and that makes a big difference.
It does. It's a lot of fun. So that's very cool.
We've always done that. That's like part of our philosophy, is that we show up in person.
Mm-hmm.
We show up to meet the people to begin with, We show up to look at the aircraft. We show up at inspections. We make it a point to show up.
Yeah. Right. That's true. And you've got people all over the place. So, you can show up wherever,
And even
Mexico.
our guys fly a lot. So, and gals. So I shouldn't say that. Just guys.
Right.
They should know better.
Exactly. Well, I've always thought of guys as I know it's a terrible thing to say, is kind of an ambiguous term. And I guess that's because, I've always worked in a male dominated industry, and being a guy or being one of the guys is kind of what you're after.
Well, sometimes we only have guys, but right now we have
true.
A few, 2 women, 3
really
actually, who work with us. So,
Very
including
cool.
me. Yeah.
So you and Jennifer, right?
Jennifer and Joe Carroll's wife is his research.
Okay.
Person. So there's 3 of us.
Cool. So you're not the lone stranger anymore. That's cool.
No, it's fun when we have business meetings.
Cool. So what else about the book struck either of you? I know, did you do the audiobook or the book?
I have the book, and I did not read the whole thing yet. So I read maybe a quarter of it.
No, that's perfectly fine.
I will be reading the rest of it because it's interesting.
Exactly. Yeah, I think, the whole section about, 5 steps to ridiculously consistent growth is really my favorite thing about this. Is just the ridiculous consistency, as he puts it. Nobody thinks of marketing as consistent, and it isn't in this small scale. So I was actually just having office hours with somebody this morning talking about, how he's run a couple of different ads and had wildly different results, and not what we would have expected. One did really, really well, and then one that we thought was going to do even better kind of flopped. And that happens on the micro scale, and it could be just, it's July,
timing could be a big thing.
Yeah. So there's so many
what's
things
happening in the news besides whatever's going on. Sometimes people get distracted by things that are happening.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of factors beyond our control, like the price of gas, really impacts what we do. The whole environmental situation really impacts what we do. So.
The heat.
The heat brings it
I was in the Northeast
mind.
For more than a month, and we never had temperatures over 90.
Wow.
And I came home, and it's just really hot. So it makes a difference.
Oh, wow.
What's interesting on that note is this is the 6th hottest year so far in history that they've been doing this. There are actually 5 years that were hotter than this.
Wow.
In the US or locally?
US at least.
Okay.
In the UK, it's the hottest they've ever recorded.
Oof.
The other day. It melted a runway.
I can't even imagine. There's people at Farnborough now,
They don't have AC. Our guy doesn't have, he just said he kept the windows closed. I guess their houses retain the temperature. The walls are really thick.
Mm-hmm.
So we just didn't open them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I guess all that distracts. I agree with you with the 5 steps for consistent growth. It was interesting. You described them in 2 different ways.
Mm-hmm.
One is they were a sentence, and the other one was he said like map, uncover, narrow, attract, and scale. It's just, I could definitely see a graphic that was different out of that than he had.
Sort of a technician's approach to marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I really like about it is, it's so much easier to explain because most of our clients are pilots, engineers, really, really right-brained scientific thinkers, as opposed to artistic thinkers like you and me, Debbie. So it's easier to have a framework and especially a visual to explain to them, this is where you are on this map. So this is why this is happening to you right now. And this is where you want to be on the map. And you're not going to be there until we fill in all these boxes. And so that's so much easier for them to understand than, we need to engage and scale and, marketing words that they don't really care about.
Blah, blah, blah. Right.
Yep. You can see them just hearing the teacher from the Charlie Brown episode.
Yeah, just what I was just thinking. But that's what happens. I mean, people have learning styles and they process information differently.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to reach people, you've got to figure out how to say it.
Yeah.
Or show it or whatever it is they need so that they hear you.
Right. And for you and I, probably it's the diagrams and for people like John. Yeah, it's the checklists and the words, that really help them see something in binary and, okay, this is black and white and I get this. So very, very cool. Great. Anything else to add about the book or?
No, it's a good book.
Yeah, I think so. This is actually one of my favorites. And, we might have to do some of these on repeat. The Referral Engine, I think it might be time to do again, just because a lot of our clients aren't doing enough with that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's a good idea to come, to make a process for that.
Yeah. And there's a little bit of it, they touch on it in the Ultimate Marketing Engine, but they just go into so much more detail in this book because it's a thicker book and it's all about referrals with a whole bunch of different techniques and things like that. So that might
to actually implement something, you probably would be good. You'd probably be more likely to implement something new by doing the book that focuses on a specific thing. I would think for me, that would work that way better.
Right.
Would have been nice if we'd had this book to read back in business school in marketing class.
Yes.
Do you remember what textbook you used in that class?
One of them was Mark Strat.
Okay.
And it was, I think that was it. That was one of them. There were two, I think. It was all about doing all these marketing things that you do. But when they talked about it, I mean, everybody in there was saying, oh, this is easy stuff. So, yeah, maybe for you. I don't get it.
Yeah, exactly. I have not found any marketing textbook, that's being taught at any university. And, people send me these things sometimes, because they don't want them anymore. And, there are bits and pieces from them that are decent, but I have not yet found one of those big $300 university textbooks on marketing that you could apply in our industry, like at all.
No, nothing in that course other than maybe, I wouldn't go that far. I don't think there's anything there that you could apply to the way we approach marketing.
I wonder if marketing courses have changed.
They may have.
So much digital, they would have to, right? Like since we were.
Yeah, well, that's just 20 years ago when I went to school. So
yeah,
right. Well, and
I did it 10 years ago. Yeah. I wasn't taking a lot. I took even communication. It's really changed.
Well, even the people that took it last year, they're using textbooks that are 5 and 10 years old. So
that's not going to work.
No,
not marketing.
No,
exactly.
We mostly didn't use textbooks unless we were doing history of media.
Yeah,
we had to read current articles.
Okay,
we had to do in school.
Yeah,
which was probably better
in
a way.
Right. And nowadays they're doing those spiral bound things where they're doing, syllabuses of journals and things like that are a lot more current. And then each professor kind of puts together their own book, and it's this spiral bound mess that's not as much fun in a library.
We didn't even have a spiral bound. We had them online.
Ooh, good. Okay.
Everything was digital for me. So, but that's hard. I had to print them out because I can't process information quite the same way when it's on a screen.
Yeah, I really like, and that's why we made these worksheets, because you can print them out and you can set them on the table and talk about them in a meeting. and go through them and
I
scribble
still
on
need
them.
my highlighter. I can't
Yeah.
see it. There we go. I need that.
Right? I've got
Yeah.
all my colored pens too for deep
That's
thinking.
how we learned, though. I mean, we learned to learn that way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, John. Did you do the same thing?
Yep.
Yep.
That's true. Cool. So I personally think that our book club is like 1,000 times better than the college course because we talk about current things and we talk about what's working in our own businesses. So yeah. Anyway.
And we have fun.
Exactly. And we have iced coffee. So we're it's not a wine book club, but it's almost that much fun.
And we share what we know, which is
exactly.
Which is good.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up for me, unless there's anything else anybody wants to throw in.
Nope.
No.
Not for me anyway.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, Paula Williams, ABCI. We help aviation companies sell more of their products and services.
John William, same. I work for her.
Debbie Murphy. We help our clients buy and sell jets.
Great. Thanks, guys.